Hello, welcome back. It's the SCL. It was good to have Tom back. It's been a while since we've heard him cast. He's been sick forever. Everyone's sick.
He's been better.
Hindu's coming back as well here soon, so we'll have a good variety of casters. But we've got SCL today, guys. We're still in the makeup games for EU. Up next is going to be Excellence taking on Barrage. Let's take a look. Sitting at the top still is Rival after those two wins, sitting at 7-1. Barrage following them, 5-1. And then Excellence, they've got 4 wins. However, it's up. All those wins are against Excel, so it's kind of weird on where they truly stand.
Their last series was against Rival, and similar to Excel, they didn't play like that kind of a team that should be losing that badly. But we'll see. They're going to be facing Barrage this set. They haven't faced against Barrage, so it's going to be interesting to see yet again the style that they bring to this table.
And just to note for rosters, prOxyQQ is still out, and it's ManLike Stacy still filling into him for him. So we'll get into the match here and kind of see how that's going. Stacy played pretty well last time, I think, in the jungle. We didn't really see too many things, and I just got word that Proxy is in the game, so I was lied to by hi-rez Cooper.
Ooh.
Make sure to tweet at him and tell him that he's not doing his job.
That's
Actually, he is doing his job. I'm sorry, Coop. You're great.
It's a bad Coop.
But Coop's going to fire shots to me later.
Stacy still played pretty well. Even though getting behind early on in the first set, he still was able to make an impact in the set against Excel and found the win in the end.
Barrage, though, here, still a top card, and we're going to be seeing them face off against Rival in the next match. So we do expect to see Barrage kind of get the better of them, but it's kind of, you know, how much better has Excellence got? Because you kind of mentioned it where it's like they've only found wins against Excel, but they've looked pretty good in their other matches in the latest week.
They're going to have to pull something out of the cards. It's still really early in the season, or the split, rather.
Yes.
So at this point in time, it's a good idea to kind of pull out everything that you got against such a team as Barrage. You're going to need to get these wins early on in the season and separate yourself from the pack currently. With Barrage being 5-1 and Excellence at 4-4, it's a good timing now more than ever.
Into picks and bans, though, Barrage going to be first pick. They grab Raijin after banning away Scylla, so kind of taking one of those burst mages for themselves, locking the other away. Then we have a couple junglers banned out as well. Elexum and Susano locked out.
We haven't really seen a Poseidon against a Raijin trying to cripple the Raijin's dash, but regardless, Guan Yu going to get picked up by Excellence, still electing to save their mage pick. They don't really need to pick it quite yet, as they do have that third pick, and more than likely Barrage isn't going to be planning on running double mages.
Honestly, with these two picks, Guan Yu and Nemesis, we could see just an Odin picked up by Barrage here. I'm not exactly sure if they feel confident in running it across multiple lanes, but they can grab it now, and it is that flex pick. Maybe grab a Hunter as well, and then just decide their second half of the draft based on what Excellence does.
It's going to be a Ravana currently for Barrage, and if they do elect to pick up the Odin to complement that, more than likely, well, it's not going to be the Odin, so it's going to be a Bacchus support, but jungle position is still available for Barrage, so that is the one slot that could go in Barrage's favor.
And I do like them grabbing this Bacchus. Obviously, we've seen kind of Sobek's picked into Nemesis before, and it's a pretty nasty counter where Nemesis will just always ult the Sobek when he dashes in aggressively. So they get themselves the support that, you know, they feel comfortable with, not having to worry about, you know, everything but Sobek being banned away. Excellence going to go with the Cabrakan. So a little bit of ambiguity. I cannot say that word. Ambiguity. There it is.
There you go.
I could say it after I mess it up for the first time. But Cabrakan and Guan Yu, we could see them solo or support. Probably Guan support, though.
It's going to be a good composition coming out of Excellence currently. A lot of damage on their side with those 3 picks. And Odin did counter them, but not anymore with that nice ban.
Yeah, I really like the bans that we're seeing coming out from Excellence. They also take out the Thor as well, so they've locked away 3 potential junglers if you consider Odin a jungler, and he can. And then it's going to be more mage bans. Barrage, they've locked out Scylla, Zeus, and Giannis. Excellence, though, they still have the Soul, so this is a little bit of an interesting composition from them.
Well, you can dump out your ultimate and your Stellar Burst into the ultimate of Cabrakan, so just creating that little pocket for Soul to fill up, as well as Guan Yu potentially following up that damage. A little bit of a late game jungle position for the Kali on Barrage.
Yeah, and this is the first time we're going to see Kali in the SCL. You could see no one's picked her up just yet. Still, just like you said, that really hard late game carry potential can just snowball out of control once she gets full build. And it's going to be Hoyi in the Hunter spot. And I kind of like what Barrage has done here, right? They've got the Kali, but they also have pressure in the solo lane with the Ravana. I guess the matchup isn't super good against Cabrakan, but it's still better than it could have gone.
It's just you're trying to transition safely out of the early game. As long as you don't fall too far behind, more than likely, every single Cabrakan we've seen so far mark the Vanguard purple pot. So I'm expecting to see the same exact thing for Excellence in this position. And now with this Apollo pick, so it's going to be Sol in the mid lane with Apollo in the Guan Yu in the duo, which is a pretty good pushing composition.
Yeah, I mean, Apollo clears pretty well, and then Guan Yu obviously going to be able to heal up. Talu Assault stacks the minion, so pretty easy for Apollo here. We're going to be getting into game one, though, of Excellence taking on Barrage. Excellence still trying to find wins against the two top cards, Barrage and Rival here. And I mean, we've seen good stuff from them lately. So I'd like to see how they do in this match.
Just kind of spawning the shenanigans.
Okay, the shenanigans spot.
Just waiting.
We got to figure it out here. I'm not really seeing anything.
Yeah, I mean, just now the Bacchus picked up Curse. I was about to say, like, no relic on the Bacchus.
Maybe he didn't want
it. A little
it.
Spicy. But no,
he
picking up the Curse.
Yeah, he actually traded out for the Meditation now, so wants a little bit more of that sustain.
Okay, so I like the idea behind either way. So in this position, picking up the Curse would try to limit the mobility early on of the Guan Yu without having that cavalry charge, and you're also limiting the healing coming out of the Guan Yu. Now, as long as Guan Yu doesn't have the sprint, your Curse is going to be that much more effective and could potentially find a very easy early kill, but playing it very safe with the early meditation.
And we actually see that a lot where teams and players, support specifically, won't buy their relic at first, and they'll actually try and scout out what the other person is buying, because if someone has a sprint, you're like, I don't really want to buy a Curse, but if there's no sprint on board, if they've gone into that meditation or a different relic like a shell, like you can buy that Curse and you can look for very early kills.
It's important to hold on your options and try to find that counter in any way you can, whether it's during picks and bans or in the item selection.
So no starting shenanigan items, and it doesn't look like we're going to have any starting shenanigans either. Pretty standard, no one's going to be invading. Actually, both junglers, though, electing to go speed to blue here, and this Raijin has got lane control, so it's going to be hard for Lycan, but he's actually got to be careful here. It's going to be a 2-on-1, but it looks like Barrage just going to switch it up here and go to the Fire Imps.
Stellar Burst was down for the Sol, trying to clear those archers, so there was no follow-up, even if the Nemesis wanted to play aggressive against the Raijin that didn't have the dash. And now, left side mid-Harpies have been taken by Excellence. However, Barrage are picking up not only the Fire Giant Imps, but also the right side mid-Harpies, getting a slight lead.
Yeah, and you can see just hitting level 3 right there. Sol's hit 3 off the wave, and so has Lycan. And now they're actually going to be looking to invade, but the left side Harpies are down, so if they take the whole trip over there, they're going to quickly realize that they've already been picked up.
And in that position, there's a ward for both teams around those bottom left Harpies. Sol popping the Stellar Burst, not connecting onto Elexum. Stun not connecting from Proxy, so just going to be a little bit of a wash. But this is going to favor Barrage because now they get to the mid lane. They're going to be able to clear before Excellence show up, and now they could be the ones playing aggressive in the jungle or invade.
Yeah, and there's a ton of wards there in those mid Harpies. They're actually going to be cut off trying to get back into this, and they're going to start losing XP and gold. And look at this, really well played by Barrage. And also Proxy, I mean, he's just stopping them from getting to that wave.
And that's all they needed to do. They needed to deny all that gold and experience. About half the wave, if not more, was lost for both members between the middle and jungle out of Excellence. So they're not going to hit 5 before Barrage, and with that, there's going to be a huge power spike for them.
And look at this, already aggressive. There's the Thunder Crash, and it's just poke there. They're not going to full commit to this kill, but I mean, Lycan had already lost so much XP and gold into those waves that now he's pressured back. Now he has to go back early and spend potions, and also his back rights are getting stolen away. So a fantastic start from Barrage, going to give them a little bit of an XP and gold lead. Not the biggest because their dual lane is kind of pushed back, but I mean, you got the pressure for the Kali, and that's what's important.
You're trying to transition into the mid to late game as soon as possible for the Kali, and what better way to do it right now. In the dual lane, however, there's going to be a little bit of trade in the poke. Awe is going to get bullied out. Meditation online for the Guan Yu, but not so much for the Bacchus, so he has to be very mindful about the aggression coming out of Excellence.
And that's got to be a little bit expected. We did see kind of pressure over in the dual lane pretty heavily by Excellence. They've kind of been pushed up to the tower, all forced to use that meditation early on. But he's going to jump in. He's got to be careful, though. He could get turned on once that Guan Yu hits 5.
They were level 5 on the side of Barrage, trying to make a power play. Like you mentioned, now hitting level 5, going to get slowed out. That could have been a nice play for an ultimate coming out of Mr. Turtle. Not electing to pop it, though. They saw where the middle and jungle was in the mid lane, electing to play very safe.
That's really surprising. I mean, that jump's still on cooldown. There's no CDR for the Bacchus, so a little bit of a missed opportunity for Excellence. But, I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons that we don't see them, you know, able to take these games off the top cards, right? They can fight fine, but not really abusing the opportunities they have. And look at this. It's just Barrage clearing the wave so they can back early.
He also had the meditation available to him, whereas the meditation for the Bacchus was down. And with that, that's going to favor Barrage heavily, not giving up first blood in that position where that could have easily been capitalized. And now Hu Yi's going to back with a fully finished golden bow.
Yeah, this is going to be a real problem for Excellence. Once this Kali starts hitting her power spike items, you can see she hasn't backed just yet, but when you have a Kali on the other team, you really want to abuse your early game or her lack of early game and try to invade as much as possible. And right now, prOxy's just getting all this free farm.
And it looks like there might be a little skirmish for these right side mid Harpies. It's going to be a 3-on-3. It's going to be interesting to see which team is going to pull the trigger first.
It doesn't look like Excellence want to get in here, and all's just going to be zoning. prOxy's already got one. There's the second creep as well, and it's still farm in favor of Barrage. However, the Nemesis is level 5 here. She's going to be backing very soon. Probably get her boots online. Gold-wise, she's about 300 behind prOxy's Kali, so just those early imp steals and losing those waves paying dividends right now.
Have to be very careful now. Excellence, they were in position to contest those right side mid Harpies. The Guan Yu was there before the Bacchus, so they had a 3-on-2 for about 5 seconds, which could have been exploited, just yet again not capitalizing on a little bit of a player advantage.
Big thing, though, is kind of most of the early game wards fell off. No one really had the vision, so it's a little bit scary to be diving in like that. However, now they're starting to come off the base, and all could be in trouble here. 3 people up front for Excellence, but just going to back off. And actually, it looks like Jeron. Actually, his name's, he tweeted out. Jeroen.
Yeah, I think.
Jeron?
He spelled it with a U.
Yeah, Jeroen. I'm going to go with un, because he said like -un, Jeron.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to go with Jeron.
I'm going to say Jeroen, so that way one of us will be right.
So Jeroen there, almost getting the better of Herp in the 1v1. But it doesn't happen. He just backs to base.
So Soul Lane currently at the moment. Cabrakan, not much. Actually, Cabrakan has a pretty comfortable lead. Despite having the purple pod, this is a good, comfortable lead that you want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind. I actually was looking at the Hu Yi because I'm so used to the top being the solo laner. So I just quickly glanced over the both gold position.
Come on, Jeron.
So never mind. Cabrakan didn't really pay off for the purple pod
300
at this
gold.
moment.
I mean, 300 gold, though. I mean, is that good enough, right? You're still down, what, 150? I mean, that's got to be, like, good enough as long as you get that early pressure and don't die.
You also have wasted less gold for consumable potions as well.
That's true.
Compared to the Ravana. So in that regard, it might be relatively even, or Cabrakan might be a little bit more ahead.
At the very least, though, they've both got their boots online, so going to be working on their second items very soon. Teleports online for both of them. The buffs are about to spawn, though, and we didn't really see Barrage try and invade early. They still have that Kali. They're just trying to hold out until she hits her power spike items. You can see already the items starting to come online. That's the Katana. So not going for the Chins or the Fatalis or the Ickfile that we typically see from Kali's.
It might be a stone cutting sword early on.
Is that worth going that early?
I personally wouldn't advise going stone cutting sword this early on. I'd try to get the Fatalis as early as possible, trying to maximize my mobility and attack speed. But in this position, Barrage doesn't have to force anything. They have the better mid to late game. It's up to Excellence to kind of force the hand of Barrage, but nothing's really being done at the moment.
I mean, the thing, though, is that they do have the Guan Nemesis, so, I mean, they can go into late game as well here. Mid Harpies, looks like Turtle wants to contest, but it's going to be all going aggressive. 2-man Intoxicate, and actually on a little bit of trouble. There comes the Drums of War, but they're not going to connect onto the targets needed. A couple hits, but not enough damage. Herp lands down as well with the Apollo across the skies, but not going to be any follow-up until Turtle goes in.
Turtle's going to go in, forcing the dash away from Elexum, just securing those left side mid Harpies. Jumping in is Proxy, stunned out.
Cabrakan's
is
here.
the Guan Yu with the Cabrakan rotation. That should be first blood.
Oh, actually, Proxy finding a 3-man stun, is trapped in, does have his ult available. He's going to hold it. Jeron jumps over the wall, just trying to get out. Now 4 members surrounded as Watson going in. He doesn't care, and the Thunder Crash hits 3. Elexum with first blood, and now Predator's in trouble. He's going to be trimmering onto multiple targets, but Watson's still in that back line doing everything he can. Farleez somehow managed to snipe out Proxy, not respecting the damage. Proxy holding his ult.
That's very interesting to see that ult just being held on for that long, and now Farleez isn't done, trying to find another kill. Could have overextended just slightly, but gonna pop his Disapparate and get away. Bacchus with the rotation, connecting on the belly fight, forcing the purification out of the Hu Yi.
And actually, Predators here going to be done. Thunder Crash secures it. That's 2 kills with Thunder Crash and 1 engagement. Pretty extended overall, but Barrage getting the better end of it. Now finally getting themselves a little bit of a gold lead, about 1K off of that. Proxy probably doesn't need to die in that situation. I think he got a little bit greedy, but still a really good fight for Barrage. And it looked like Excellence was going to get the better end of that once the Cabrakan made the rotation, just not enough burst.
Just not enough follow-up also off of the ultimate early on from the Guan Yu. The cavalry charge was used just to secure the left side mid-Harpies instead of being used offensively during the team fight.
I think he wanted to go offensively, but then the Raijin Thunder crashed away, and then he's like, whatever, might as well get the mid-Harpies. I mean, at that point, you kind of want to disengage though, right?
It depends. There was a lot of cooldowns used on the side of Barrage. The Raijin ulti was used, the Bacchus and prOxyQQ was used, and with those two ultimates being down, those are two huge teamfight ultimates that you can take advantage of.
Barrage, though, here, they starting to look pretty good. The Kali working on rank 2 of what we imagine to be stone-cutting swords, so it's going to be a while before she gets online, but Proxy actually made a big play in that fight as well. Once the Cabrakan locked everyone in, he had a 3-man stun and was just barely able to avoid out. Gold Fury just being counter-warded. I don't think Barrage want to start this just yet.
No, like we mentioned before, Barrage are very comfortable waiting this one out. They want to get into the mid to late game to allow this Kali, Raijin, Hu Yi combination to just pull off a lot of work in the late game.
And the Raijin also making that rotation, actually going into a very early Pestilence. So once that magical protection up against Predators, Cabrakan, typically you still don't see the magical protection this early. A lot of times people will go Breastplate, I think, right, just to get that CDR online. However, not so much for Watson. He doesn't care about that.
He wants to make sure that he's going to position himself in a good spot, not allowing the Cabrakan to do any sort of bullying into that solo lane. So just going to play it rather safe than sorry. Also limiting the healing a little bit of the Guan Yu with the Pestilence, which is very important in these mid-game teamfights. Guan Yu, level 9, along with the Bacchus, electing for both going the Traveler Shoes and the Talaria boots for the supports. And
it looks like counter-warding still going on here. Excellence getting the better end of it, but a lot of people missing out on their XP, and you can see the Hunters being forced to rotate back in, all going aggressive. Gonna find a knock-up onto Turtle. Proxy gonna follow up. There's Thunder Crash too. Turtle trying to get out, pops his meditation, but the Raijin has already finished him off. It's gonna be a trade back thanks to Herp here, and might be able to find all, unless he can get the belly flop on time, trying to juke out, can't do it enough, and Lycan finishes him off. But the rotation is on from the Hu Yi as well. He's being surrounded by 3, and he's being dove. His jump is already on cooldown. Nice juke though over the wall. Lycan looking for the slice and dice. He's gonna be slowed. Good purification, and Proxy with the peel.
And with that going to be disengaged, it's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange. Mr. Turtle falling, however, 2 members of Barrage fall. And now Watson trying to find the return kill onto Farleez, but beautiful CC coming out of the Apollo, making sure that nobody hit him also, just to make sure that Mez lasted longer.
Just great presence of mind there. I mean, it's so easy to just immediately turn around and break that Mez, and if that happens, I mean, Farleez is probably dead. The Cabrakan's made the teleport in as well. But I don't think either solo lane's going to be getting the better end of this one. And no Gold Fury from Excellence, but they do win the fight.
And that's very important that they're making sure that they're staying relevant at this stage of the game. They're going to need to start pulling off these early to mid-game team fights in their favor to not allow this Kali to really snowball.
I mean, the biggest problem there was kind of the Raijin not respecting the Nemesis ult, I would imagine. Oh, when he Thunder Crashed in, this could be something Predators looks to abuse, but I guess with no one else around, doesn't want to force any fights.
It's going to play a rather little safe, so just electing to go back to the solo lane, pick up that farm. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, going to have 3 members from Barrage able to clear this wave and then start making a rotation for the red buff. Whereas Excellence is just going to be waiting for the aggressiveness out of Barrage. They have really good vision around Gold Fury. They have 1 defensive sentry, a sentry on top of Gold. Whereas, if we look at Barrage, they have a pretty passive sentry ward on their duo side as well.
Yeah, I mean, All's actually placed the most wards in the game, 6, a fair number, but at 12 minutes in, he needs help from his team. He can only have 2 wards out at one time, so he might even be kind of killing off some of his own wards with that many placed already.
Just have to be careful about the timing as well. As long as you're popping those wards at the crucial timings, if you're utilizing 1 ward aggressively for about 1.5 minutes, but then all of a sudden you need 1 passively for whatever reason, it's not a bad idea to try to trade that off. If you're not looking to play aggressive, it's not important to have that aggressive ward anyway.
Speaking of aggression, Jeron trying to 1v1 Herp again. And I mean, this is a fight he kind of wants to take at all times, except for now, where the Soul Eater is finished for the Apollo. However, this could be a pretty good bait. All's waiting around the corner. Going to get the knock-up successfully, and there's the Hu Yi Crow, also going to find the stun and the ultimate. But I'm pretty sure Herp's going to be able to space this out in time, and he is. Just walked back into his tower. 2 ults burned.
And with that, no relics burned on the side of the Apollo. So HerpTheDerp getting out of that scot-free, taking a little bit of damage, but he's going to be able to back safely, get all his health back. pop some potions as well, pick those up, pick up some wards as he comes back to base. Meanwhile, there's going to be some contestment for these left side mid harpies as it's about to respawn.
You can see actually Proxy coming around from the top side on the right, going to be invading the speed. Lycan has no idea this is going on right now. There are no wards on the right-hand side for Excellence, and you can see Barrage just putting pressure with their 2 members in that mid lane. They're not actually trying to force a fight. They're just trying to make sure everyone's distracted so Proxy can steal this away for free. Even the blue buff's being stolen.
Cabrakan trying to zone out Predators, and Proxy tried to actually engage on top of the Cabrakan instead of continuing the invade onto the blue buff. And now with that, Cabrakan Predators is going to have to back. Teleport is coming back in about 3 seconds, so he'll be fine to pick up the wave. But he more than likely is going to lose his blue buff.
Yeah, and if he teleports in, that gives Barrage an opportunity where they're going to be able to rotate their soul laner to any fight, and the Cabrakan's going to be stuck there, Lycan trying to get to the blue buff, but it's already been picked up. Looking for the stun, but it's not going to be on the mark, and good disengage from Proxy, but he's kind of left his solo laner all alone, and here's a 4-man rotation. The Cabrakan ult not going to be on the mark here, and Watson actually taking out so much damage.
Just absorbing so much. Nice rotation coming out of Awe. Gets a good belly flop, holding on to his ultimate still. Watson able to confirm the first kill onto Lycan as the teamfight continues.
Yeah, the problem there just seemed to be the fact that there was so much investment into Watson, but he's so tanky. He had full Pestilence. He had rank 2 of that Breastplate of Valor. He's just picked it up. My mic, hello?
I hear you.
Oh, I've just gone deaf, but we'll sort that out here soon. Yeah, so the rotation comes in, and Raijin's just able to make it over there in time and finish him off.
So moving forward into this, we're going to have the Hu Yi and the Apollo rotate into the mid lane during that craziness on the right-hand side, as Soul is going to rotate in the mid lane, just waiting for the possible aggression out of Excellence. They need to do something currently to try to get back into this game. They lost the solo lane currently, so what they have to do to respond is get off some really good wards, wait for the aggression of Barrage, and try to counter this. And meanwhile, in the mid lane currently, they're just going to wait and see some aggression, as we do have Mr. Turtle thinking about it going in, not really going to commit, however.
And yeah, just going to go back to farming here, 15 minutes in. And Gold Fury still not being looked at all. That's a little bit surprising to me, but I mean, Barrage, I guess, just trying to hold out to the late game.
Dual lane, just going to be very content currently into the dual lane. Just farming it up. Jeron, not really much to go, as Apollo's going to go back into the jungle, trying to spot anything, being a mobile ward, but it looks like Barrage want to play very aggressively here. Going to force out a lot of members from Excellence. The red buff is not coming up anytime soon, but it looks like Barrage is going to start up the Gold Fury.
And it's already actually down to 50, and I mean, Excellence, they need to get in here now. They need to make a call, but it's not in time. Gold Fury picked up by Barrage, and Turtle looks like he's not able to engage either. I mean, Barrage kind of just positioned themselves absolutely perfect for that.
And with that Gold Fury, that's going to extend their lead to about 3,500 gold. And with almost about a 6,000 experience, this is a really good start for Barrage. And like we keep mentioning, they have the better late game team composition, so Excellence needs to respond very quickly.
Yeah, just look at this Kali, 3,000 damage, but I mean, Lycan's only put out 3,500. I mean, Proxy, all he's really been doing is pressing 3, right? He's only been hitting his stun, disengaging. He hasn't really been kind of a mainstay. It's really been the Raijin that's found the kills for Barrage, and now he's got a Stone-Cutting Sword online. He's going to be working on his Fatalis as well. He only needs 900 gold to finish it off, and with him backing at full health, I imagine he's got it done.
He's going to have the speed buff as well, trying to make an aggressive play. He can stick onto the Cabrakan or the Guan Yu and just shred them at this stage of the game. It doesn't even matter. There's not much that they can do to respond to just this little power spike that they have currently going on.
You can see Watson on the right-hand side there. He's going to be backing, maybe looking for that invade, but it doesn't happen.
So with that, currently, Excellence is giving up a lot of map control backing. Elexum was thinking about trying to get that speed buff, but it was already down currently. So Barrage are going to be playing very aggressive with this lead. Looking at the player damage currently, Hu Yi at the top of the chart, around 8,000. Raijin also very aggressively, always looking for the dashes and the ultimates. Jeron with a nice stun on top of HerpTheDerp. HerpTheDerp is not getting the better end of this training. He's going to have to dash away. And with the rotation of the Kali, Herp has to be very careful under this tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, just going to be kind of staring at each other. There could be some aggression in the dual lane as Proxy is thinking about diving that tier 1 tower. Just going to think very carefully about the timing that he wants to commit. Better safe than sorry. Does have the ultimate available to survive.
And I'm back. Don't worry, guys. We've got the the headset sorted out. I couldn't hear it totally. I couldn't hear your beautiful voice.
Oh.
I was so confused. But 18 minutes in, and Barrage looking really good for this game. About that 4K gold lead, and you can actually see aggression on the right-hand side. Turtle, he's going to find a stun, but the Raijin's already up into his ult. The Raijin's actually by himself, and look at that, just hits the third part of the ultimate, fears people away, and now Watson's in this fight as well, fighting 3v1. Proxy moving forward, has his Fatalis into effect. There's a soul ult just to disengage, but it's a double jump from Watson and on. He finds one intoxicated, and it seems like Predators is going to be able to get out here, but Lycan trying to answer back, diving into 4, not going to be able to follow up at all.
We're going to have Predators with the first kill currently using a nice blink. All might be in a little bit of trouble. Going to get mezzed out, going to be barely able to belly flop away, but the aggression continues from Excellence. This is what they need currently to win this team fight. HerpTheDerp is going to use Sanctuary just to get away. Elexum might be the second victim of this team fight.
And yeah, Hou Yi ult used just to try and force everyone off there. Predators is going to take a spill, going a little bit too deep by himself, but Watson fighting 3. I mean, this Soul doing a fair amount of damage in the fight, but not able to finish anyone off. Stellar Burst does hit your own once again. No Gold Fury, though, for Excellence to be able to pick up, but actually the Hou Yi pushes forward, and I'm a little bit surprised that we're not seeing Excellence full-on dive that.
That was very interesting bait coming out of Jeron. He did have Awe right underneath the tower, so if the tower dive committed from Excellence, more than likely there would have been some dead members on that side. But overall, that was a 1-for-1 trade, kind of favoring Excellence, I would say, in the long run. When you're behind, you want to be trying to trade 1-for-1 currently.
They also lost their Cabrakan, who, while he's 2 levels behind Watson right now, it's really not that bad as long as he's tanky enough to survive kind of those initial bursts. And the only time he did die is when he was kind of pushed up at the end of the team fight by himself. Watson, though, still has yet to die, and we've seen him be just, you know, an incredible part of Barrage's team fights where he's just simply used as bait, where Barrage want Excellence to use all of their cooldowns on that incredibly tanky Ravana, and they're falling for it every time.
The way that teamfight initiated, however, it was trading in the ultimates of the Guan Yu and the Raijin early off to start. Guan Yu was zoning away,
Yeah.
however, the Raijin was doing a good job zoning as well. And then we had the initiations of the Ravana and the Kali trickling one by one onto that chase into the tier 1 tower. The curse was beautiful coming out of Barrage, trying to catch any members because there's no sprint online available for Excellence to counteract that. So there's extreme value there coming out of Watson.
Yeah, and, you know, I think what we saw most notably as a 1v1 going on left-hand side, doesn't look like either want to commit to this fight. Jeron looking for it, but he's going to fall back. But honestly, the presence of mind of Elexum to hit that taunt, right? He actually taunts 3 members away, and if Excellence are able to successfully dive into that corridor, maybe they just win the fight off the hard engage, but completely negated from the Taiku drums.
Just have to be very careful with your positioning, especially against corridors. For both teams, honestly, they have the Raijin ulti coming out of Barrage, but you have the Guan Yu ultimate coming out of Excellence, as well as the Hou Yi ultimate, which is going to be very tricky to get away from with all these area of effect ultimates coming out of Barrage.
And it seems like Predator still wants to be the aggressor. Right side Harpies, 4 members grouped up. Excellence going to get it. All jumps forward, but he's off the mark, trying to get the stun at max range, but Turtle's able to space himself away, and Predator's actually retreating over to the right-hand side. He has a tower there, but it's very low. Proxy still, with this Fatalis, is going to be able to chase Predators just a little bit, and Barrage trying to force a fight, but Excellence just spacing themselves where they're not going to be poked out.
Trying to get a little bit of poke. Does have the Guan Yu. Meanwhile, on the dual lane side of things, HerpTheDerp dashing away. Could be in a little bit of trouble. The Ricochet does connect, doing a little bit of damage. Does pop the Soul Eater. 1, maybe 2 more hits. Could secure this kill.
And now we see Proxy's target is going to be this Apollo. It's the last person to kill him off here. And actually, a little bit of a lazy pack there, as you can see Herp, I think, getting a little bit too anxious. He still has his ultimate, and you can see Barrage trying to force another Gold Fury. That red buff has respawned, and Excellence, they need to get in. They can't give up the second one for free.
There needs to be no hesitation at the side of Excellence. They need to go in, and this Apollo needs the ultimate right now, which is exactly what he's doing. The Nemesis ulti is used, the Guan Yu ultimate is used, Raijin ult. So many ults are being used.
Actually, Proxy trying to find his target, but he's not going to be able to. Still does jump out in time, and actually Herp's landed down in the back line. All's pushing forward with Watson, but they don't have the damage to finish anyone off right now, as the carries had been zoned out by Herp in the back line. And actually, Excellence, now they're looking to push forward. They have the Guan Yu, and Barrage are incredibly poked out.
And with this, Excellence are going to try to force Barrage to come in out of position. Awe is going to make a rotation, going to try to stun Predators, thinking about belly flopping onto the Gold Fury. Does have potential steal, but not going to confirm it. It did go on the side of Excellence.
And Aw's actually picked up, and now Predators takes out Elexum, and this could be a massive win for Excellence. They've already taken out 2. They're looking for the 3rd, but Watson just looking to peel. Proxy picks up Predators in the back line in the meantime. However, Excellence still going 2 for 1 in favor of them. Also, the Gold Fury, they've got got the Guan Yu, but they need to be careful of Proxy lurking around behind him.
He's coming behind. He's going to look for the stun to connect onto 2 targets. Lycan's going to absorb some of it with his shield. Proxy doesn't have ultimate, so he's not going to be able to fully commit to this fight.
And look at this, Turtle. I mean, he's just going to be able to heal up. There's just not enough damage on Barrage, and they've actually poked themselves out. This should be a successful Tier 1 siege here, unless Excellence really mess up, and the Guan Yu just going to be healing away. No wave right now. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not electing to try and tank this up, and it seems like Excellence are just going to back off and let this objective go for free.
Cavalry charge was available. The ultimate coming out of Proxy was down as well. So yet again, just being very cautious currently, just electing to take the red buff instead of diving for the Tier 1. Currently at this stage of the game, coming up the 24-minute mark, the Guan Yu is pretty tanky with 2 stacks of hi-rez, Breastplate of Valor. He can easily absorb all those Tier 1 tower shots for the rest of his team to follow up and get a guaranteed kill, because there was not much mana also on the side of Barrage.
Also going to get yourself another stack of that Urchin, make you even tankier here, but Excellence at the very least have clawed back into this game. They were down about 4,500. Now only about 2,000 separating the teams. A little bit less than that actually. So once again, we're seeing Excellence. Like this is what we see from them. This is what we saw from them last match too. Just they have this ability to go toe-to-toe, but it seems like some of their decision-makings or the high-level shot calling, like, let's go for Gold Fury, let's look for the Invade, let's look for kind of these towers, right? We have power spikes. They can fight as good as Barrage and Rival, but it seems to be just needing to fix their objective-mindedness.
And with that, we're going to look at the builds real quickly. Looking at the Hunters, different styles currently. Hu Yi electing to go for the chin size, trying to synergize with his Mark of the Golden Crow. Not connecting on the Ricochet stun, but still winning out in the in-hand trade. Whereas the Apollo elected to go for the Executioner Rage, trying to get a little bit more attack speed and crits online. Winning the trade against Hunter versus Hunter would favor the Apollo. But in a big team fight, I would say the Hu Yi would be able to shred the tanks better.
Yeah, and for this, I would have to say that probably a better power curve for the Apollo, just kind of these 2 cheap bridge items. Rage, 2,600. When you look at the other crit in comparison outside of Wind Demon, it's like 3K plus for those items. So just trying to get online now in these very crucial moments, 25 minutes into the match. Rotations come in from all, oh, and this is trouble. Herp just eliminate under his tower. Raijin's coming as well. And there's the meditation. There's only the Guan Yu under this tower right now. And it looks like he's going to be sieged up.
Predators could potentially teleport, as Watson is making this rotation towards the mid lane. Doesn't have teleport available in mid, so he's just going to push that wave and make the rotation in the meantime. Awe is trying to connect the stun onto Turtle with a Hu Yi ultimate, just trying to zone all the members of Excellence away from Tier 1, guaranteed on Barrage.
And look at that, Proxy also just sitting in that jungle, making it hard for the Soul to get and help defend the Tier 1. However, the grouping is good from Excellence right now. They've got 4 members under the tower, all 5 of Barrage sieging up, and it's going to be Predators to be the initiator. And Elexum forced to pop his Sanctuary early, getting very low, and you can see Turtle trying to chase him, but Lycan can't do the damage. The Raijin's already got out, and now this is real bad for Excellence. Here comes the Supernova, and actually Proxy has his ult. He needs to get out of this tower, though. It needs to be careful. The jump forward from Jeron going to find one. Watson as well on the back line, and it's just a complete cleanup from Barrage. They only lose Watson in this engagement. All's going to be taking up the tower for the rest of the members as well, and an overall a 3-for-1 in favor of Barrage.
And with that, the Apollo does revive, is up in the sky, trying to capitalize onto the aggression from Barrage. Jeroen is going to be able to take out Farleez as the Apollo lands into the duel lane, able to pick off Awe in the meantime, and with no jump from Jeroen, he could be in a little bit of trouble as well, but going to try to take the trade, missing out the Ricochet.
He's actually missing out a lot. There's the sprint popped here, and I'm pretty sure Herp can't close the distance with that movement speed, and he's given up himself. He's just going to rotate and help push onto the mid lane. So the fight goes to Barrage, but they only get a Tier 1. Possibly could have got that Tier 2, but Herp managing to stop it.
A lot of aggression. They did trade 3-for-1 earlier on, but playing a little bit too aggressive for that 4th kill was a little bit misguided. Should have prioritized the 300 gold per player instead of that initial kill. And with that, Barrage still in a pretty comfortable lead. Not gold-wise, but I would say experience for a little bit.
Ooh, look at that too. Elexum, not even level 20, but Thunder Crash hitting for about 1/3 of the health. 3,500 separating the teams, not too much. The 7K XP is probably one of the bigger ones to me. And
most of it's on the jungle.
Yeah, probably about 2 levels. I mean, this lane of the game, is it that significant though?
Hitting level 20 on Akali compared to Nemesis, I would definitely say so, as Mr. Turtle's going to get dove onto this Tier 1 tower, which does collapse. Meanwhile, Predators forcing out the escape from Elexum, as Stellar Burst is going to try to zone prOxyQQ away, as well as that Hu Yi ultimate.
Look at that, Jeron popping his ult, just trying to make sure Proxy gets out. And Proxy, he's died, I think, once without burning his ult. Not going to happen a second time. Just very, very safe for him there. Doesn't want to get picked off, this late into the game. That could lead to a pretty major objective for the other team. He's going to back. He's got his chin size online, also working on what seems to be an executioner. So this Kali, I mean, once she finishes that, it's going to be hard stopping her and her diving.
Excellence are in a good position to force this Gold Fury currently with the Hui ultimate being down and the Kali, forcing the purification out of Jeron. Cabrakan was thinking about using the ultimate, but got CC'd in the middle of it. And now with Raijin ulti being down, this team fight should go to Excellence.
They're actually going to commit straight to the Gold Fury, though. And actually, there goes the Intoxicate. That's wasted as well. And here comes the call. They're off the Gold Fury. They're looking for the fight. And the trouble in the front line here, as Turtle, he's trying to swing it away. Farleez is going to get picked off by Jeron somehow in the back line. And Watson's still swinging away at 3.
And with that, we're going to have a return kill. The aggression from Jeron gets answered by Predators, all looking for the stun, connecting onto 2. Meanwhile, HerpTheDerp landing onto Elexum, getting another kill in the favor of Elexum. And now Oz in a lot of trouble. He's going to fall as well. 3 for 1 in the favor of Excellence.
And now they can look for the Gold Fury. Turtle's just going to pop the heals. Predators is on the peel right now. Proxy, he's made the rotation back in. His ult's still down after using it defensively, and he's going to be swinging away at Predators. Oh, man, this is really bad. Kali's looking for 1, but she gets stunned out. Pops her Sanctuary, trying to get away here and can't find her target, but Watson does take out Predators in the meantime.
And they're going to try to respond with that kill currently. Not connecting with the slow, forcing the ultimate out of Watson should allow him to get away. And just, we looked at the Kali damage, is just so real. And now popping her ultimate, trying to get off some trades, forcing the purification out of Lycan. Lycan's not dead, going to get the slow and the kill onto Proxy.
And there's the target. It's been reset onto Lycan. Still no objectives picked up for Excellence here. You can see the Apollo. I really love what he's done. He actually split pushed the mid tower in the meantime, and now they're going to be looking for this tier 1 on the left-hand side. Excellence, they're still down in gold. They're still down in kills by 1, but I mean, this tower, and if they get the Gold Fury as well, should completely negate all of that and make this a dead even game at 30 minutes.
Excellence are very confident in their multitasking abilities, but actually going to neglect the Gold Fury, trying to regroup and guarantee Watson going to go with the flank on the top-hand side.
This is rough. There's 3 members here. There's going to be the root onto Herp, and that's actually going to be the soul here as well. Turtle going to pop his ult, just trying to help out, but Ult's already got a 2-man knockup. There's the Sanctuary popped. Herp just trying to get out. He's getting focused, but he's knocked up. Thunder Crash as well from Elexum. Finds 1. The Raijin ult is activated. Lycan getting tonked out, trying to stay alive, has his Sanctuary, but it is Jeron to finish off the kill, and another 3-man knockup. This is trouble for Excellence. It looked like they had fought back into the game, but just a couple mispositionings, and it's going to be turned on.
And with that, that's going to be another kill. So that's 4 for nothing. Jeron barely able to escape the tremors. And now Predators could be in a lot of trouble. Watson and Awe trying to confirm the kill. The rest of the members from Barrage are very low to try to contest this kill. Instead, they're more than likely going to position themselves around this Gold Fury. There's not much Predators can really do to stop that Gold Fury.
It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get any kills, though. The tier 2 will stand here. Watson makes his way back. Yep, Predators let it happen, and actually no one going for the Gold Fury, so neither team really able to find these objectives, or a little bit scared about the respawn timers.
The respawn timers were pretty long, however. There wasn't much global pressure. The Apollo was going to come up in about 10 seconds from there, but if nobody backed, the lifesteal from the Hui would have been significant enough just to tank the Gold Fury in this position. But they have bigger sights in mind. They're going to go for the Fire Giant instead.
And only Predators is going to be the first one here, and honestly, with actually 0 wards on the map for Excellence, they don't have the vision to know this is going on. You can see a couple, they're going to different lanes. They have no idea. Predators is going to find out here very quickly. He is just trying to get his blue buff, and he still has absolutely no idea.
And that's why Barrage didn't go for the Gold Fury. They wanted to be healthy for the Fire Giant. They knew the timing that they had. They knew that the vision of Excellence wasn't there, and the Fire Giant, because there was just so much action in the dual lane. So that was in their favor.
This Kali still near bottom of the damage charts, but that doesn't matter, because right now she's able to shred any target she wants. She has her ultimate, and honestly, there's really not enough CC on the side of Excellence to peel her off properly. Turtle's going to go in, and it's actually going to be a 4-on-5 fight. Excellence trying to take this, but Proxy's already just focusing on the Phoenix. Going to turn his attention. There's the stun, but CC immunity is out for Herp, and he's going to fall. Switching targets now, looking for Guan Yu. Turtles dashes away here. The jump is available for Proxy. He's got his ult as well. Now looking, popping it, and I'm pretty sure this is his target. He's looking for Lycan, needs the heal, but it's going to be really close. One more hit. He pops his Sanctuary, just trying to get away, and he is going to be forced back, but Watson's already cleaned up Turtle there under the Titan, and now Barrage. It's going to be real hard for Excellence to answer back.
3-for-0 trade in the favor of Barrage, as well as picking up this Phoenix on the right-hand side. 2 tier 2 towers remain in the middle and dual lane side for Barrage to get before they continue this Phoenix siege, and so far they've been getting beautiful use out of this Fire Giant push. They're just so good, objective-minded, neglecting the Gold Fury just to back and get Fire Giant a force that was just so good.
Oh, Predators. He's got 2 members locked in here, but he doesn't have the follow-up damage, and now he's going to be knocked up. Aw's on point. Thunder Crash as well helps secure Predators, and now it's going to be a Phoenix, and this is so worrying for Excellence. They've been fighting at least a man or 2 down in every single engagement. Predators pulled the trigger probably just a couple seconds too early. You could see Turtle and Herp going to be spawning, but now they're down their Cabrakan.
If that play happened about 10 minutes ago when all these gods were level 20, I would say good job, Predators. But in that position, with Barrage being this far ahead, with Fire Giant, just a little bit misguided, not having that follow-up damage like you mentioned was just so crucial. It was just a perfect initiation, just needed to be more patient for the respawns from the rest of his team.
And look what he's gone into. He's gone into a really damage-oriented build. The only protection items he has is Breastplate of Valor with no health, and then Void Stone, which is a hybrid item with no health. The only health he has in his build is coming from that Gem of Isolation, so it's just kind of really hard for him to survive in these engagements.
He's banking on his passive, making sure he gets a lot of damage reduction, trying to protect him in that regard instead of being a little bit of a hybrid tank, which makes sense because on the side of Barrage, they have a Bacchus which does a lot of damage, just being full tank minus the Soul Reaver, obviously, Lycan. I mean, the current position that Barrage is in, with this kind of elite, allowed Awe to pick up this Soul Reaver Lycan, just trying to close out the game.
And I gotta give full credit to Awe. We haven't really mentioned his name, but every single time he jumps, at least one is knocked up. Usually it's multiple targets. I think we saw on that left-hand side team fight, you know, under that tier 2 tower, he just got a 3-man knockup. Then the next knockup comes in, hits 2 members, and then another 3-man knockup there at the end of the fight. I mean, he's just been so incredible with Bacchus.
And that's what you need to do as a support, whether you have the knockup Athena dash taunt, it doesn't matter. Find those initiations no matter what. And with a Bacchus knockup, it's very rewarding because not only do you set up the team, but you're also doing a lot of damage at the same time, as well as connecting the slow once your Drunkometer is a little higher.
Going to be watching Awe to start this fight off again. Now it's going to be a 5v5, the last Phoenix remaining for Excellence here. Awe is just tanking it up, allowing Watson to get into the back line here, and now he's just going to be activating his burp. He finds 1 stun, and Turtle, I mean, that ult was completely useless.
Nemesis ulti being used onto Watson, trying to trade off Proxy, doing a lot of damage, forcing out a Sanctuary out of Lycan, and now HerpTheDerp trying to trade with the Kali, force the Sanctuary as well. Predators could be in a lot of trouble to this Kali.
Oh. Proxy somehow managing to get out. Pops his Sanctuary in time. Elexum Thunder crashes forward. He's got 1. And now all 3 Phoenixes are exposed. Titan here being looked at. Fire waves coming into the middle lane. But Turtle, I mean, he's doing a good job right now focusing out onto this carry here. Jeron very low, but he gets the heal from Soul Eater. And here comes Elexum once again. Thunder crashes aggressively. And it's Herp trying to get out, but he can't manage it. Now only 2 left to defend here. Fire waves raining in. This is going to be Barrage finding the first game against Excellence.
Took about 36 minutes. However, a very convincing lead, having 16,000 gold at the end of the game, just showing pure dominance, I would say.
And honestly, this is, once again, like Excellence are so close to being a really good team. They're so close because Barrage is the top card, right, next to Rival. They traded out, and the one time they faced out, we're going to be seeing them face off once again next year. But it just seems to be the objective-mindedness and kind of the map awareness where, you know, they'll win these engagements, they'll win these fights, but they don't exactly know what to do they don't know the right thing to do, I would say.
It would seem that coming out of Excellence, there was a little bit of hesitation with early game cavalry charge usage.
Yeah.
There was some opportunities that could have been utilized, especially during the early laning phase when we saw Aw's belly flop being down around the left side mid Harpies, not committing to the team fight, instead using it for those left side mid Harpies, which could have turned around the team fight.